Are we at Nick Cage already?
Yes, we are.
Holy cow. Okay.
Yes, we are. So we're going to talk about, speaking of what might have at one time been considered sci-fi, we're talking about AI now and how it's impacting the entertainment industry.
Nicolas Cage took to the stage at the 25th Newport Beach Film Festival on Sunday to urge up-and-coming actors from giving into pressure from employers opting to use artificial intelligence to change or otherwise manipulate their performance. The veteran A-lister was making a speech ahead of his Icon Award reception during the Fetties Honors branch taking place at the Balboa Bay Resort, which also featured honorees like June Squibb, Marion Jean-Baptiste, Sarah Lee Ralph, Coleman Domingo, and more. Film performance, to me, is very much a handmade, organic, from-scratch process, the Longlegs actor said while uplifting young actors. It's from the heart, it's from the imagination, it's from thoughts and detail and thinking and honing and preparing. He continued, there is a new technology in town. It's a technology that I didn't have to contend with for my 42 years until recently. But these 10 young actors, this generation most certainly will be, and they are calling it EBDR. This technology wants to take your instrument. We are the instruments as film actors. We are not hiding behind guitars and drums. Employment-based digital replica, or EBDR, is one of the two digital replicas permitted by the SAG-AFTRA deal struck with the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers or Studios after the conclusion of the dual Hollywood strikes in fall 2023. This type of generative AI is created through the performer's physical participation for a specific project under the terms of employment, while EBDR's rules negate the draw of cost-saving measures for AI, as in employees who work less days as a result of EBDR will still be paid for the EBDR days. They are differing rules for Schedule F performers who make over $80,000 for a film and are assumed to have the leverage necessary to negotiate their own terms. The studios want this so they can change your face after you've already shot. They can change your face. They can change your voice. They can change your line deliveries. They can change your body language. They can change your performance, Cage cautioned. As an example, the action star said his cameo appearance in 2023's The Flash was an example of EBDR. I'm asking you, if you're approached by a studio to sign a contract permitting them to use EBDR in your performance, I want you to consider what I am calling MVMFMBMI. My voice, my face, my body, my imagination, my performance and response. He concluded, protect your instrument. This is the first time Cage has vocalized his stance against AI and his fear of how it will be utilized to undercut performers' work in Hollywood. During a July conversation with The New Yorker, he said, God, I hope not AI. I am terrified of that. I've been very vocal about it, and it makes me wonder, where will the truth of the artists end up? Is it going to be replaced? Is it going to be transmogrified? Where's the heartbeat going to be? I mean, what are you going to do with my body and my face when I'm dead? I don't want you to do anything with it. All right. Got any thoughts?
Well, before I get to my...
I did.
Yeah, before I get to my thoughts, I see that there's some really good points being brought up in the chat here. Matt Inouye says the problem is this AI crap is inevitable. You're kind of right, but I would focus on the AI crap, right? So in other words, we're going to get mediocrity. If we start to rely on AI, we'll never have greatness anymore. And if it is inevitable, that is incredibly, incredibly sad. Space Fraggle says, remember Disney and Peter Cushing.
We've talked about this.
We've talked about it, and this is a great example of, and there's a lot of nuance here. I've learned a lot since we talked about it a couple weeks back. But it has to do with rights-related issues on this stuff. And the law is still catching up with the technology. We're going to see more and more of that going forward as well. But then using EBDR films wouldn't be eligible for awards. That's an excellent point because, for example, some of the artwork that I use in the thumbnails and a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing in the content that other YouTubers put out is AI generated. And why do we do that? Well, we don't have to pay royalties for that stuff. you know. But then, yeah, by the same token, that would mean that it's not eligible for, you know, an AI cannot, you know, generatively create something and get an award for it, right? A creeping mediocrity. That's absolutely it. Yep. There's nothing new. Nietzsche didn't know about artificial intelligence, but it's absolutely true. And but here's the nuance of it, right? And I'm gonna. It's hard for me to say I'm playing devil's advocate because I'm not truly taking an opposing viewpoint.
You're just trying to be a non-biased.
I'm taking a moderating perspective because I'm not in any way in favor of AI, but I would argue the right tool for the right job, right?
Fine.
And I would say, Nicolas Cage, what happens when we want to digitize you so that we can capture your performance, but de-age you, or have a flaming skull character that as closely as possible portrays your emotions through your performance. Not undermining your performance, but allowing your performance to come through. What happens if you in the dailies look at something and go that you're not happy with it? That's not what you intended. You didn't realize what was coming through the camera. They go, do you want to reshoot it? You have the option to go, is that something you can tweak? Yeah, we can tweak that for you. Now they're doing something that you want them to do with your performance.
Yeah.
There is nuance to all of these things. And, you know, as we start getting into this, we will be talking about the idea of someone who, you know, has an accident and is unable to perform or passes away and cannot complete their role. Maybe it could be completed using AI and your estate still benefits from it because it is your...
Like Paul Walker in Fast and the Furious.
Exactly.
But I thought they did something clever with Paul Walker. They actually had his brothers do stand-ins for him, which I thought was interesting because they had a similar look to him, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, the benefit to that from the AI standpoint is you don't have to have such intricate, you know, work to make it look right? But... these are the kinds of things that I don't think it's one size fits all. And I think this is the same problem that we often see with lawmakers. Trying to make a law to address a specific problem that you have and making blanket statements that have repercussions that you don't intend. The way this needs to be handled is the individual actor and their individual representatives need to form contracts that are conducive to what they want. You need to be able to say, for example, just as an actor goes in and says, I want final say on script, and I want, you know, whatever things you go in and demand in your contract, that's how you handle these AI things. And you say any use of AI to change my appearance or whatever, I need to approve before you can use it.
Yes.
And you negotiate that. And if they're not willing to do it, then you walk away from the role. This is how negotiations work. This is the way it's always worked. It's not new because it's AI. It's just a different element to be negotiated.
Hate to say it, but the past belongs to the dead. The moment belongs to us. So I'm not, in principle, against using the likeness of dead actors. But I would argue, I want the new classic actors to be discovered. That's another reason I have this. So
this is another one of those nuanced elements that we were talking about.
Like
because
I'd love to recreate Deborah Paget, but we're the new Deborah Pagets, you know.
Right. Well, and I agree. I agree with what Darth Plato's saying. Very much, and I know this, you know, you and I have butted heads on this in a jovial, jocular kind of way. I think I play the devil's advocate a little too much more than I believe just for the play of it. I agree with you that I don't like the idea of resurrecting dead actors with AI. My point was more, you're in the middle of a single film and you die. We need to finish this film. You know?
I know.
I firmly believe, however, that you don't even need to wait till an actor dies. I would say when they age out of the role, go ahead and recast that role. You know, I think they should have done that with Indiana Jones years ago. I think back after 2, maybe 3 movies with Harrison Ford, they should have gone with Brandon Fraser. And then after he got 2 or 3 movies, go with, I don't know, somebody else.
Yeah, but we got Brendan Fraser for The Mummy, so that's close enough.
Well, no, I get that. That's
almost
some like other actor then, right? It didn't have to be him. I'm just saying, some other actor.
Yeah, a lot of people did like the use of Cushing in Rogue One. Apparently the Cushing estate has some problems with that, though. Just like an actor can say in the contract they're not doing nude scenes, they can also say they don't digitize. They can. I know certain actors, I think, have given away everything, like Mark Hamill. I think
that's actually Nate makes a great point, because when an actor says, I won't do a nude scene, they've had very clever ways of getting around that, using body doubles, you know, or, you know, wasn't it Jessica Alba in Sin City? She wouldn't do a nude scene, but they digitally made her nude. And that begs the question, why is that? How is that different? Not literally showing my nude body, but making everyone think they've seen my nude body is somehow better?
Her being nude in that movie. Maybe it was the second.
Maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was a different movie. But...
Okay. I remember Carla Gugino showed some of herself in that movie, which we appreciate.
But there's a lot of movies like that where you think you've seen, like, what was the one, the one that Nicolas Cage actually did a remake of, The Wicker Man. Was it Ursula Andress that was in the original?
Yes.
Yeah, she didn't do a nude scene in that movie.
No, not Ursula Andress. Britt Eklund.
Britt Eklund, right?
Yeah.
Britt Eklund. That was not Britt Eklund that you saw her bits of.
Doing the tormenting the
right
in the other room.
That was a body double, you know. But everyone thinks that they saw Britt Eklund in that movie.
How did you miss what? Britt Eklund naked in the Wicker Man? They're different cuts, but it wasn't really her anyway. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't even really her.
I was thinking Ursula Andress. No, I'm sure. Yes, I understand. It was Machete, not Sin City. Okay, it was Machete. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, I didn't see either one of those movies, so I don't know. But
they're funny.
But there you go. Oh, I want to see both of them, but they're
good. They're great fun. But moving on.
Oh wait, just real quick before you go on, I did want to drop this one link that is related to this previous article, and that's Miyazaki. How do you pronounce his first
Hayao
name?
Miyazaki's thoughts on AI.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, Hayao Miyazaki is a curmudgeon.
I think he's earned the right to be a curmudgeon.
He's a brilliant animator. He is one of the top living animators today. But he did not. You'll see this little conversation when the younger Japanese animators, they say, we want a machine we want the computer to do the animation for us. That's what they said point blank to him and Isao Takahata, and he's just stunned by that. It's like a generational divide over there. So even in Japan, they're having this conversation. You know?
Well, I mean, and let's face it, you got to kind of understand Japanese culture when it comes to this. I mean, that's the difference between having an artisan make modern katana swords, and which I know that's redundant. Katana literally means sword,
right?
But or having machines mass produce them, and maybe even using materials that make them, you know, sturdier and stronger and sharper. Maybe, I don't know. But there is something to be said for tradition, and there is an element that will never be the same as what a true artisan can do. Look, I'm telling you, I've eaten enough processed food in my life, and just recently gotten some really good food. from Amos Miller's Organic Farms.
Excellent.
In Pennsylvania.
Right. Amish.
They
Family run business with no preservatives. The difference is night and day. It's amazing. Not a sponsored stream, by the way.
Treat yourself sometime if you ever have an Amish restaurant in your area. Check it out. It's you'll be thankful.
Absolutely, the Amish know how to eat, and let's face it, they're way healthier than we are too.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, but I did want to make a point though about we're talking about AI, and it's not the same. And I'm thinking, but who's using AI images on your Friday streams? It's me, or some of my presentations. You know why? Because the problem is if I have to do a picture of a black cat.
Yeah.
I can take it from Google and just do a random search for a black cat, but then I'm worried: could this be a copyright?
That is always the concern.
I mean, AI thing, and now I own it. Now it's mine, or at least I don't have to worry about me being struck for something that the thing made for me. Do you understand? So
exactly right.
Yeah.
I'm just putting up a generic image to illustrate what I'm talking about. I'm not looking to make some awesome piece of art or whatever, and I want to be able to do it without getting hit with some sort of a copyright claim or something.
Listen, so what if there's a few extra fingers on that hand? Come on. Apparently, Facebook is filled with AI crap on it.
It is, and you know who's been talking a lot about it is the Metatron, because there are whole channels dedicated to like Roman history and Greek history and whatnot. And all it is AI generated crap. And you're talking about, extra fingers and legs, right? Well, they do the same thing with the details of the history that they're putting in. Because they're pulling it from who knows how many sources and sometimes confabulating it, not giving any citations. And we're talking about actual history. And it's like, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. That was never true. I know a lot of people believe that, but that's not true.
Yeah, he has a complaint about the bracelets too in Hollywood productions on Roman soldiers. Bracelets. Stop
At least he's honest. He's like, I know, I'm being pedantic, but
he gets angry.
Okay, I'm not going to talk about.
No historical record for that. If they did have a bracelet, it'd be like a metal bracelet of a fine metal. It wouldn't be some leather thing they'd have on their arm. Where it came from? It's like
Jonathan brings up a great point about Shadiversity.
Right.
Shad does some great AI artwork, but he is one of the first ones to point out, just like I have, AI art is a tool. I would say that 99% of the artwork that you see in my thumbnail that I say is AI generated, it only starts out that way. I then have to go and do all kinds of my own work to it. Maybe it's fixing the hands and the feet, for example, but sometimes this is really close to what I wanted, but it's not quite right. Let me go in and, it's kind of like how many comic book artists have traced over someone else's work. And then they go in and then they change the uniform and they change the hairstyle and At what point is it referencing and is it directly stealing? You still have to put your own effort and art into it.
But it's hard.